used a surgical saw. He burned the hands. He crushed the skull beneath the wheels of his own car. More than once. Just to be certain. And then he went home. He slept. And the next morning, he arrived at the university to teach medical students like nothing had happened. Welcome to the Dread Archive. This is a series about real crimes, real people, real horrors that were not committed by monsters you can recognize, but by men the world trusted completely. This is episode 1 of The Professor's Last Patient. Cairo, 2010. The Heliopolis district. A city loud enough to swallow secrets whole. The question that should be sitting heavy in your chest right now is this. How does a man spend 30 years saving lives, and then spend one night erasing one, almost perfectly? Stay with me, because the answer is not what you think it is. Dr. Mohamed Ahmed El-Ghareeb was 58 years old, professor of endocrinology at the Faculty of Medicine, Ain Shams University, one of Egypt's most respected academic institutions. He had graduated at the top of his class, earned every degree with distinction, built a name that carried real weight in hospitals across the Arab world. 3 clinics, a university chair, decades of students who passed through his lecture halls and went on to become doctors themselves. A career that looked, from every angle, like a life well lived. Like a man who had used every year of his life doing exactly what he was put here to do. People used to joke they couldn't figure out when this man slept. The truth is, he was never just a doctor. Running quietly beneath all of that respectability was a second life. Currency trading conducted outside legal channels. Expired pharmaceuticals relabeled and sold as viable medication to people who trusted the packaging. Defective medical equipment. Equipment that should have been destroyed, quietly pushed back into supply chains. None of it legal, all of it profitable, and all of it invisible, because it was run through a man who absorbed every risk on his behalf. That man was Mohamed Abd El-Latif, a nurse, a personal assistant, a fixer, the one human being on earth that Dr. El-Ghareeb trusted completely. Abd El-Latif had been with him since the beginning. His name was on the investments. His face appeared in the meetings. His signature was on the documents that the doctor's name never touched. His lifestyle was far too comfortable for a nurse's salary. That was the only visible crack in an otherwise perfectly maintained facade. The doctor stayed clean. The assistant absorbed the exposure. That arrangement had worked for years. Then the doctor noticed a nurse on his team named Sama. She dressed expensively. She wore a significant amount of gold. And based on everything he knew about her salary, none of it added up. So he asked her. She explained that her husband was an appliance trader, experienced, well-connected, a man who knew how to move inventory that others couldn't, and made serious money doing it. Dr. El-Ghareeb felt something click into place. The husband's name was Mohammed Mokhtar, 48 years old. His business model was simple and almost completely invisible. He bought household appliances with hidden factory defects, defects that would not surface for months, sometimes longer, and resold them at full market price to buyers who never knew what they were purchasing. He bought low, he sold high. He never disclosed the flaw. And because he was careful and experienced, he had never been caught. Dr. El-Ghareeb arranged a meeting. He listened carefully. He understood the model completely. He saw the mechanics behind it, and he saw where it could scale. And he decided he wanted in. He offered 170,000 Egyptian pounds as an investment. Mokhtar would buy the defective goods, resell them at full price, and return the profits. The money changed hands. But because Dr. El-Ghareeb was a man who had spent years operating in dishonest business, he did something that most people in that world do not do. He made Mokhtar sign receipts for every single pound. Every transaction, every installment, every exchange, all of it documented, all of it signed. He had protected himself completely before a single pound ever changed hands. For the first 3 months, everything looked legitimate. Regular payments arrived. Returns came on schedule. The arrangement appeared to be exactly what it was sold as. Then Mokhtar disappeared. Not completely at first. There were excuses, market conditions, temporary setbacks, delays that were always about to resolve. Then Sama called the doctor and told him her husband had run into serious trouble, that the full amount simply couldn't be repaid right now, that the doctor needed to be patient. Dr. El-Ghareeb was not a patient man. He filed a lawsuit. Every signed receipt, every document, every pound accounted for, all of it placed in front of a judge. But here is the part that tells you exactly who this man was. He didn't file that lawsuit because he cared about recovering the money. He filed it because he wanted Mokhtar to understand, clearly, without any room for misinterpretation, that he was dealing with someone who had thought 10 steps ahead before a single pound ever changed hands. He started asking quiet questions, the kind of questions a man asks not when he is trying to find out what happened, but when he has already decided what to do about it. What he discovered was that Mokhtar had done this before, many times. He would take investment money, run it through his business, and when pressure came, he would repay slowly, in installments that were always about to increase, always delayed, always tied to conditions that conveniently extended the timeline. A rotating cycle of other people's money, quietly running for years, never fully collapsed, never fully repaid. This was not a man who had run into trouble. This was a man who had built a system out of it. Dr. El-Ghareeb made a decision. This was no longer about money. This was about punishment. He called Mokhtar. His voice was calm. He said he was willing to drop the lawsuit entirely. He would accept repayment in installments. He would be patient. He would be reasonable. Mokhtar agreed immediately. He had no idea that call was the last normal conversation of his life. That same evening, Dr. El-Ghareeb sat down with Mohamed Ahmed El-Latif, and they began to plan what came next. Abdel-Latif called Mokhtar with a simple message. The doctor was waiting at the Heliopolis clinic. First installment, 7 o'clock in the evening. Come and collect your signed receipt. Routine, simple. Come alone. Mokhtar did not hesitate. He had no reason to. He had been through arrangements like this before. A creditor, a clinic, an evening meeting to sign paperwork. He understood the pattern. He just didn't understand that this time he was the one who had been planned around. Mokhtar arrived with the cash. He found the building dark. The entrance looked abandoned. He knocked several times. No answer. Then Abdel Latif appeared from inside and led him in. What Mokhtar walked into was not a functioning clinic. It was an abandoned operating room. Old equipment along the walls, outdated machines that hadn't been switched on in years, the smell of a room that had been closed for too long. And in the corner, a mechanical surgical saw. He walked toward the desk where Dr. El-Ghareeb was sitting. He sat down. He placed the money on the table. The doctor opened the desk drawer, not for a receipt. Episode 2 begins the moment that drawer opens. What happened in that room over the hours that followed was designed by someone who understood exactly what forensic investigators look for when they are trying to identify a body. He had spent decades studying that same science, and he used every piece of it. Subscribe to the Dread Archive. Turn on notifications. Episode 2 is already waiting. Because what they found in those bags should not have been identifiable at all.